Welcome to Transcend Oceania's Justpeace Talanoa Bure COVID-19 on building Justpeace communities in changing environment and climate. Thank you for your willingness to be part of this episode. I'd also like to welcome all of you who are viewing this program on this Talanoa Bure. Maybe if we can begin by you introducing yourself, who you are, where you come from, which organizational community you represent to this Talanoa, and what's your role in that community or that organization. Maybe if we can begin from the far end.
I am Bio White to I come from Votua Village in Ba. And I'm here to represent the community of Votua, and also the Asian organization in the church, Catholic Church, which is called the Caritas. I'm also part of that organization, and especially dealing with climate change that's happening right now, and issues about mining, which is very much a part of my work right now.
Thank you, Pio. You will have time to talk about those. Let's turn to our friend here. Could you please introduce yourself?
Baleinakorodawa to you all, and welcome to all the viewers. First of all, my name is Selita Donu, and I am from the beautiful province of Narrated with maternal institute in Conciliation. I am also the founder and director of the Hakwa Foundation, which is the newly launched NGO in the province of Narrated, and our work is mainly focused on promoting women and youth participation in all forms of decision making at community level.
Thank you. Pio, you've started to talk about some key issues that you are grappling with as a community at the moment. And so with your work with Caritas, Fiji, I understand, but also your work in the community is focusing on some of these critical issues that you are grappling with at the moment. Would you like to share with us some of those priority issues that you have just started to talk about earlier on, but maybe if you could talk about them a little bit more?
Yes, this mining is quite new, especially when we talk about black sand mining, which happens in the mouth of the river. This is something new in Fiji, I believe. And of course there are issues that comes with it. One of the priorities, I do believe, is the way that the process has been made in inquiring the prospecting license and also the mining license. I believe that there was no free or prior informed to make so that can allow the let's say the government, but mostly the community leaders, to make an informed decision based on the information. What I believe that wasn't done properly. Yeah, that was one of the issues.
So the issue about mining and the process of obtaining the license, the community was not well consulted and informed in terms of the decisions that they made.
Right.
Okay, thank you. We will talk a little bit more around those issues later on, but let's turn to Selita and maybe ask you to talk about some of the priority issues that you grapple with, particularly with Hakwa Foundation, with youth and women participation in decision making.
Paulo. One of the priority issues that we are currently facing in the communities are the impacts of the developments that are taking place in the communities and the lack of participation from the young people and the women when it comes to the consultation at a community level.
Okay, so the lack of participation of young people and women in the decision-making process is something that you're grappling with the current issues that you face. So, Selita, at Hakwa Foundation, you are focusing on women's and young people's participation in decision-making in relation to development works. Can you share with us some of the development works that are happening around your area in Nanarona?
Some of the development works that are happening right now in Nanarona is the gravel extraction and the dredging that is happening at the Senator Mouth. This is of a great concern for the young people and the women in the communities, because they are the subsistence users of these resources, and the irreversible impact of the development is it's contributing to the livelihood.
So in that development, you are promoting women and youth participation in the decision-making in relation to those development that affects their lives. And so, Pio, you've been talking about free, prior, informed consent. Can you please just say a little bit more about what that means?
It simply says that before you make a decision, and this is with regards to the community leaders, they need to be well informed before they are given their consent to whatever development.
So when they're giving their consent, they're well informed about what is going to happen and how that is going to impact.
Right.
We'll take a break now. You're watching Transcend Oceania's Justpeace Talanoa Bure COVID-19 on building Justpeace communities in changing environment and climate. Join us after this break. Welcome to the second segment of this episode. Previously, both of you talked about some very critical issues, which are priority issues for you, and there seems to be some commonalities around the issues that you've talked about. Maybe if we could move into talking about what are the challenges that these issues bring to you as a community and as an organization. So if you could briefly talk about what are some of those challenges and conflicts surrounding the issues that you have just talked about.
Firstly, there are a lot of challenges. It's already stated. It's the lack of knowledge, or the lack of awareness, and from the community. And this brings in different views, which causes a bit of tension and also conflicts. Because the developer comes in with a dollar sign, and so also the government comes in as the owner of. That's what it says, that in the law says the government owns minerals. And people are sitting on that mineral. The conflict is that the community thinks that they own this mineral, that they have the whole right to that mineral. But as a matter of fact, the law says otherwise. So that's one thing. And then we have people with different views, different ideas. someone's face, someone's money, someone's to protect the environment, to protect the fishing ground. That's their livelihood. Yeah? That's one conflict that is very, very hard to tackle. Yeah, that's one challenge.
Thank you. Thank you. So there's you highlighted a couple of challenges, but I'm sure it seems like you want to talk a little bit more about some other challenges. But let's turn to our friend here from Narrated to talk about what are some of those challenges and some conflicts surrounding the developments and the lack of women and youth participation in decision making in Narrated.
The challenges that the women and the young people face in the communities is mainly because of the leaders of the communities and the agreement that is signed between the company and the leaders, and which they were not aware of, and there should be a proper consultation or a dialogue to include the voice of the women and the young people to fully participate or actively involved in the decision making. So later on, when they face the conflicts, they always look back to the leaders, and this will somehow create more social problems and social issues in the communities. Women are always we always see them as the backbone of every household, but also when we face challenges, they are the ones that are on the front line. Yeah. So they are the ones that will go. Compared to the women in the urban areas, in the rural areas, the women are the ones that go out and look for food and put food on the table for the family to survive. So this poor decision making does not only affect the environment, but the community as a whole.
So earlier on, Pio talked about the free and fair, informed consent. Do you see that as a challenge, as an issue for women and young people, but also the elders in your community? That they need to be well informed before they make their decisions, because they can often be tempted when these developers come in with their mandates and their agendas. They can often be tempted to quickly sign forms and then later on find out that things don't work out for them. Do you see that as a problem for you too?
Yes, Paulo, because the FPIC, the Free, Prior, Informed Consent, it applies to everybody at community level. So everyone has to voice their opinion on, and they should be aware of the impacts of the developments that's going to take place. And the Free, Prior, Informed Consent, which Pio had mentioned, it's also part of the indigenous right.
Okay. Good. And you started to talk about some of the conflicts that are actually happening in the community, because some members of the community think that it's good to go ahead with black sand extraction. Other people are worried about the community and the environment and the source of livelihood. Is that affected as well?
Yes, Paulo, when we talk about extraction, especially in our area, where I come from, the only livelihood that we have right now is fishing. And it's this very area where this big project is happening. So, with very less informed by a certain, I would say, those who are supposed to be helping out in informing the community what are the pros and what are the cons, who's going to benefit the most out of this. We look up to them, but unfortunately we're not getting anything from them. especially in a way to help out people, inform people, and make people to talk, have a really good conversation with the company, with the government, everybody who's involved in any project.
So it's really very important for the people in the community to understand the impact of whatever development that comes in on them, on their livelihood, and their lives. That's really very important, as you say. So we'll take a break now, and you're watching Transcend Oceania's Justpeace Talanoa Bure COVID-19 on building Justpeace communities in changing climate and environment. Join us in the next segment. In the previous segments, you've talked about the issues that affect you, for you as a community, and for you as a community too, but coming from your organization. And you begin to talk about some of the key challenges that you face surrounding these issues. And of course you know that COVID-19 has affected us and brought in some other challenges and added another layer to the challenges that we have. How do you think we could respond to all these challenges surrounding the issues that you have talked about earlier on, and the added issues and challenges that's brought in by COVID-19?
For those challenges and the issues that I already mentioned, of course, there's starting more challenges, more issues accompanying COVID-19. And at the moment, we still haven't dealt with these best issues or other issues that we had before. And on top of that comes along our dear friend COVID-19, adds to these issues, and also increase challenges. How to respond to that? It needs people with clear mind and honest with their work, and trying to inform people. You can't do anything physical, but at least make them aware of what's happening in their very community. There must be solution to conflicts. We have conflicts between our family, even between our Matagali and Toka, those small units. And then it's because people only look at the dollar sign. Yeah, I think I do believe there is a way, and the way I do believe is we should talk more openly, not with the hidden agenda, but openly. Yes, I think that's.
I like that. I like, having conversations, because you've had conversations and consultations all this time. But how open are they? How honest are those conversations? As you said, without hidden agendas. So that's very good. Selita, how do you think you could respond to all the issues that you've talked about in the previous segments, and particularly the added issues that are brought in by COVID-19?
I myself, personally, I'm so thankful that COVID-19 came, because it gives a better realization of, to the leaders in the communities, to help them see or know the value of the environment, and the impact of the damage that has been caused by the development. And even right now, we received a lot of issues because of the COVID-19. For example, the unemployment rate is high, and my province is highly dependent on the tourism industry for survival. and now the people are turning back into farming, and this should give a clear message to the village elders, the leaders in the communities, on the decision that they have made because of the agreement with the company that wants to come and develop the area.
And how do you think women and young people can be involved more in the decision-making process? Because that's a key priority issue for you, the lack of participation of women and young people in decision-making.
I think women and young people should be included in the executive committees of every project that has to be carried out in the communities, and this will increase the participation and also increase the numbers of those that are keeping watch of the development that's going to take place.
Thank you. To wrap up the episode, and particularly this segment, I'm sure you have one last message that you want to say to all those who are viewing this program. So what's that important last message that you want to say in relation to what we've talked about in this episode? Pio.
My dear listeners, I'd just like to say a few words in regard to what we stand for, which is the environment. I would like to refer to a statement. I would call this a statement, which is called "That Sea." This is from the Pope himself. This is in regards to Mother Earth. We are part of this Mother Earth. We are here for a purpose. We are here to make use of whatever God has provided. We should look after it. I think that is all I can say. Oh.
Thank you. Selita, is there any last thing you want to share with the viewers who are viewing in this program?
The viewers, I would like to quote this line from Michelle Obama. Success isn't about how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. So in these very challenging times that we are facing right now, humanity should be priority to the women and the youths in the communities.
Thank you. So human beings should be the priority, whether it's development or anything that you do, the human being should be at the center of decision-making process. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you very much for joining us and for your willingness to participate in this episode. And thank you, viewers, for joining us in this episode.
As we conclude our Justpeace Talanoa Bure at COVID-19, we are reminded that to enable people living just peace and nonviolence in Oceania, we need to create more awareness about climate change, inclusive consultative decisions within the limited resources we have, and our timely responses to human security priorities, protection and recovery moving on, and in the traumatic cycle of COVID-19, and also the effects of TC Herald. I am Vasulevu, the Executive Director, Transcend Oceania.